watch a show, see a circus animal, funny thing, man, sit and see the performance. We're all sadhaks. We're all seekers for truth, for relationship with God. So we come to do Sankirtan. Sankirtan means together. So like Pujari are ready to do some worship, but they have no flowers. So I'm asking, is give your flowers your wishes? What do you want to hear? What do you want to know? Christmas means you come to the Christmas tree and get what you want. So ask what you want. Otherwise it's not because
inspiration.
According to desires, according to your desires. Then we do Sankirtan. It's all of us. In your practice, in your real life, in your spiritual life, what's on your mind? What do you want to know more about? What do you want to get closer to? Ask about that. Not just try philosophy. It's real for you. It's useful for you. In your quest. Get closer to Krishna. That's for that hour. Everyone's a thinking person. We don't just chant and go to sleep like a zombie. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. We do. Just get my rounds done. We're not robots. Right? We have desires. If we're desiring, our heart is thumping for something, we're questing. There must be something on our mind. There must be something we need. Make another step. Next step. Next step.
How to increase our bhakti?
What do you mean? How to increase our bhakti?
Because most of us
just speak for yourself and then it gets so real. It's just me,
me.
It's so real.
What we do, what I do, okay, you focus on getting your wrongs done.
My rounds.
Yeah, you focus on getting my
I
wrongs.
focus on getting my rounds.
You focus on everything.
I focus on getting my.
I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to do that, I want to get this done, I want to get that done. And you just, that's your main focus.
Who's focus?
That's my main focus. You know, you want to get it done. You want to get it done. I feel too much energy you have to put to try to get it done. I want it must just come, it must just be, it must just flow. It must just flow. What is that? Before you understand?
Yeah.
You follow what I'm asking?
Yeah. Can you say it again in one sentence? Just like one package? What I want is I must be in tune, and my bhakti will, everything will just I must achieve like my wrongs, my gayatris, everything, my reading, my bhajan, everything. We don't have to make this big effort. Oh, I have to get this done. It must just come in. What we have to do for that?
I think, it's like whatever the Prabhupada was saying is tuned with whatever I'm feeling also. It's okay. There's like last couple months, like gonna see years, been realizing what's important to keep my mind. Not important, but say I'm feeling, because I feel love to think in Krishna all the time. And I feel that I'm realizing that because we are jivas and we are parts and parcels of Krishna, we are always connected with Krishna. never been disconnected. We are always. Krishna is in our hearts, all the time. The things we don't realize that. I mean, of course, we have to do because in some point there's rules and regulations. Say we need to chant 16 rounds. We need to do Gayatri 3 times a day. We need to follow so many rules and regulations because it's prescriptive, But at some point I feel we don't need to be so rigid with us because just feeling the love and be in love with Krishna is the main goal. All the time, 24/7, think of Krishna and Radha and Krishna, and that's gonna manifest in us. But if someday, I'm not saying that someday, okay, we don't do 16 rounds, we do less, or one day we miss one Gayatri, but we have focus in our heart. That's the main focus. It is that we're missing some. It's like we're wrong, or it's really flowing. Is like be spontaneous. We see, okay, I'm following my heart, and following God, and following Krishna, and then I know he don't like that. For example, sometimes you forgot to do some ritual the way that's supposed to be. You do something but your heart, simple thing, because you're in a rush or you don't want to be complicated, just get the things done and then just with your heart. Like offer something and sometimes forget, I should
Can you say in one sentence what you want to know?
It is simple. I mean, it's necessary to follow so many rules in order to obtain, let's say,
Is it necessary?
it is.
Are you asking?
I think I'm personally looking for some reassurance on the importance of sadhusanga because I tend to forget that, and I tend to forget how important it is to be with devotees and to worship Krishna and ultimately understand that what we need to make to advance in Krishna consciousness. And I agree with what Krishna Das Prabhu is saying. We're sometimes busy with so many things that we forget what the essence is. And part of that essence is being together and worshiping. And I think I'm here just for that reassurance and that message.
Reboot on your enthusiasm for sadhusanga.
About the importance of Shiksha Guru. Is it necessary to have Shiksha Guru to do the service, or to just kind of meditating on inspiration of the Shiksha Guru and try to do whatever you think is the preparation of things, or is it necessary? Try to do just your service, like how you inspire to do service, or is it necessary to have Shiksha Guru and do service under Shiksha Guru? Basically, service and Shiksha, the importance of service. Because I spoke to one Madhuriti Maharaj, and he told me that you need to do service and do Shiksha Guru, or just create something on your own. So it kind of sounded like, how can you create something on your own? I think that's just speculation. Can I just start creating something like anything like service that I want to create on my own, or you need to find look for someone else or one Shiksha Guru? Because there are a lot of Shiksha Gurus, you can get guidance from so many Shiksha Gurus. Is it necessary to find one and do service and make it?
Samyena Tasmai Sri Devam Narayanam Bande Vrindavan Nivasinam Ananta Gunavushita Koti Vatsalyaru Ramashishtam Manumapi Sachiputram Atra Swarupam Upam Tasya Grajam Murupurim Maturim Gostavati Radha Kundam Girivaramaho Radhika Madhavasham Prapto Yasya Patita Kripaya Shigurum Tamnatos Namaste Gurudevaya Sarvasiddhi Pradayine Sarvamangala Rupaya Sarvananda Vidayine Radha Sanmukha Samsaktim Saki Sangha Nivasinim Tamaham Satatam Vande Guru Rupam Param Sakhi Panchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhuvevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namah Mana Manasa Vilasa Shirupa Chinta Savalita San Shri Radhika Dasya Tishtatu Dipavaha Yam Pravajantam Anupetam Upeti Kritam Daipayano Virahakata Rajubhava Putreti Tanmataya Tarabo Vinedu Tam Sarva Putari Dayamanamanatos Nityanandam Maham Bande Karnilam Vitta Muktikam Chaitanya Brajarupena Pavitrikrita Bhutalam Navojjaladi Bhavanadi Dana Karma Paragam Vichitta Gaurava Sindhurasa Bangalasinam Suragamarga Darshakam Rajadivasudayakam Bhajamyaham Gadadharam Supanditam Aham Kanaka Kitaki Kusuma Gaura Dusdikshitau Nadosha Labadashita Divida Dosha Punepite Ta Prabhanayadiya Kripanavat Salatvam Vaje Sachisutamai Prabhu Kurumukunda Mande Kripam Kanta Hanta Mitaspatam Ridite Sambhimitam Yotate Vrittata Vitana Muda Padakabhadra Kena Pidrajayo Atra Bhagya Bharina Nirmitatare Trailokya Lakshmaspade Gaura Shamatame Lehyatame Rupe Kadaham Vaje Radhe Shamatame Me Pratame Rupe Kadaham Vaje Kelevihitaya Malajana Bandhana Sulalita Charita Nikiva Janaranjana Lochana Natana Jita Charakanjana Mamparipala Kali Mahabhava Swarupam Tam Krishna Priya Variyasi Prema Bhakti Prade Devi Radhike Tvam Namamyaham Radhe Vrindavanadishe Karunamrita Vahini Kripayam Jivalabhya Dasyam Mayam Pradetam Shri Ruparati Manjalyon Angri Sevaika Gribuna Ashankanapi Janusha Prajivasavame Vrindaye Tulasi Devai Priyaye Keshava Sicha Krishna Bhakti Radhe Devi Sattavata Radhe Shakeli Prabhuta Vinoda Vinyasa Vidyam Brajavantanme Kripalu Tadakila Vishwavandyam Shipurnamasim Shirsama Namaste Giriraja Shigovardhana Namine Ashesha Klesha Nashaya Paramanandayane Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So first of all, I take shelter of my new master. Paramarada Shri Gopal Nitya Vishnu Vishnu Story Shri Bhakti Rasa Narayana Swami Maharaj And I take shelter of the little feet of our Srila Prabhupada, and little Vishal Vishnu Pada Stoka, Shishila Bhaktivinoda Swami Maharaj, and the whole Rupa Nuga Gauri Guru Varga, and all Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis that ever have and ever will be. I offer all the glory to the Lord. And everyone who's come to hear some Harikatha and chant the holy name of Shri Krishna, we respect everyone, friends and guests. Please, everyone, give your blessings to me. I can be a good instrument. So I don't know anything. I can't answer anyone's question. It's all a hoax. Because I know from the Shastra that if we desire something, we'll have it, we'll get it. And if we don't desire, we won't get anything. Krishna Bhakti Rasa Bhakti Mati Yatati Pradoti Lavate Tattaloyam Apiboyam Ekalam Janma Koti Sukhiya Nalavate. If you want Krishna Bhakti Rasa Bhakti Mati, if you want that Krishna consciousness, Srila Prabhupada called the society the International Society for Krishna Consciousness based on this line: Krishna Bhakti Rasa Bhavita Mati. Mati, that consciousness, that resolve which is completely infused with Krishna Bhakti Ras, means not just getting our rounds done, not just expecting to go back home, back to Godhead, but full of ras, full of relationship. Rasa means something astonishing. That this insignificant, tiny little jiva, lost in this dark world, can make a living connection with the Supreme Absolute Truth. Is full of love and affection and beauty. That person who's unlimitedly wonderful and pure will make relationship with me, intimate relationship with me, and we will taste each other even while I'm still in this world. This is astonishing. So small, so tiny little jiva. If you cut the tip of a hair into 100 pieces, and you took one of those pieces and you cut that into 100 pieces, you end up with an atomic little piece. That's how big the soul is. If I prick my finger in one drop of blood, there are trillions and trillions of souls. I'm just one. In this room, we can't imagine how many trillions and zillions of living beings there are. And how many unlimited universes there are, full and full and full of living beings. We're less than dust. So small. So forgettable. So neglectable except for one thing. We have mati, we have consciousness. We're not dust. We're alive. Forever. We are forever individuals. And what makes us alive is desire. Desire is what animates us. The body is animated by the soul based on desire. I want to speak, so my mouth is speaking. I want to raise my hand is going. I want to be a doctor, lawyer, sadhu, so my feet follow that path. By desire. God alone can control these vocal cords and these hands. We have no power to do so whatsoever. We are a little soul. No influence over matter. But we want. And God fulfills our desires. If we don't want anything, we won't get anything. If we want, we will get whatever it is you want. Because He has no morals, no dry morals. We have dry morals of what's right and wrong. We make that up. This is good, this is bad. Good and bad don't exist. You want to take an AK-47 and kill everyone in the post office? God will fulfill your desire. No one else can. Have that desire. I want to taste this. I want to take revenge. I'm angry. Okay. Because we are not the body, it doesn't matter. Okay, you want to express? You want to experience that? Okay, but you'll have to experience the whole thing. It means you have to experience from the other side. For every person that you hurt, you'll have to be hurt that many times. Standing in line, they'll come after you life after life. Give you the full experience. Whatever we want, He'll fulfill our desire. If we want to love Him, we want to come close to Him, He can fulfill our desire to do all kinds of stupid nonsense things and hurt ourselves, waiting for us, trusting in us that we will eventually learn and wise up and do something that's good for us. Well, there's not good and bad. There's what will elevate us and what will degrade us. That's true. So He trusts in us. He has faith and respect for us. Crazy little backwards jivas, cheating left and right. He has respect for us. Because He knows who we really are. He knows what potential is in us. And, like we heard last night, Pratijane priyosime. I promise you will come to me if you follow this path. I promise you because I love you. You're my priya. Oh living beings, I love you. I want you. I'm waiting for you. Such a long, long time. Means if He will help us to fulfill our stupid material desires, how much more He will help us to fulfill that thing that He Himself wants. Krishna Bhakti Rasa Bhavitamati. To make this mati, this consciousness which I am, soul is consciousness, soul is desire. To make myself full of Krishna Bhakti Ras, floating in the mellows of love and affection with God, sitting on the lap of God. Oh, He'll help us so much. According to the Christian calculation, He also helped by sending Jesus Christ today, tonight. Jesus is about to take birth in the cow shed, Goshala, manger. He helps by sending sadhus to this world. When we're lost, straying cows, we heard last night, when the cows are lost straying, then Krishna blows on his flute and He calls them to Himself, and they come running when they hear that call. So His hollow flute in this world is a sadhu. Sadhu means that person who has sad, has established eternal relationship with sadvastu. Who has established and awakened his relationship with God, that's a sadhu. Not just tilak and red cloth. Who's living in that relationship? Who doesn't care for anyone or anything else? No one's opinion matters to him because he's dancing for the pleasure of the Lord, singing for the pleasure of the Lord, and no one else. And if some good side effect, good effect comes to others, and all, that's very good too. But his whole life is for Krishna. That's a sadhu. And because he's empty, like a hollow flute, how Krishna calls his lost cows with his flute, he blows through the mouth of the sadhus, Harikatha, and calls the lost souls home to him. That's how. Anugrahaya bhaktanam manusham dehamastita. He plays beautiful human-like pastimes in this world so that yashutta tatparo bhavet. Those who hear them will become attracted and dedicated completely to him. He knows that he himself is the medicine. He's sweet. He has all good qualities, including humility. Even though he's God, even though he's King of Kings, he's still humble. And in the same time that he's humble, he knows, I alone am the medicine. I alone will make you happy. I alone am what you want and what you need and what you crave. So he sends the sadhus, Srimad Bhagavatam, and the speakers to make us hear his pastimes. Because if we hear his pastimes in Guru Parampara, in a hollow, long hollow flute, Krishna has 3 types of flutes: Vamsi, Venu, and Murali. Murali is very long flute. So Guru Parampara is long flute, down to the end. And the end where that music is coming out is Gurudev. Diksha Guru, Shiksha Guru. Those genuine sadhus will give us shelter. And from their mouth, Krishna's pastimes come out. Gurudev said, the greatest expression of love and affection in the world is the giving and receiving of Harikatha. Want love and affection? It's not just shiny presents under the Christmas tree. It's not just fulfilling each other's material desires and pleasing each other, making business transactions of mutual pleasure exchange. Love and affection is something else. Love and affection is actually transcendental. Our love is transcendental. It's the quality of our purified nature. And the greatest expression of actual love and affection in this world is the giving and receiving of Harikatha. Gurudev said, those who help me in this, my mission, to expand the greatest love and affection in the world through Harikatha, they are my disciples. Who will speak and who will hear, who will perform this kirtan together, drinking on both sides. They are really following my discipline. My discipline is to give love and affection. Why? Why is it the greatest expression of love and affection in the world? Because when we hear Harikatha, we hear about Hari. Who is he? In childhood, or when we're not so spiritually informed, sometimes we pray, oh God, if you're real, if you're out there, give me a sign. Who are you? What are you? We don't have any idea. We've heard about God in church or wherever. On the breeze, we heard about God. And as a child, we went to ask, what does God look like? But no one can tell us. We don't know. What we do here sometimes is scary. Oh, he's angry, he's jealous. Follow the rules, or it's inexcusable. You make a lifetime, 50, 60, 70 years of mistakes, and you can be thrown in the dungeon, in the fire pit for eternity. This kind of logic he has. 60 years of mistake making equals eternity in fire. These kind of things we hear about God. This is not Harikatha. It's not Hari. That's the speculation of people who have no rasa, have no taste of relationship with Him. The rules are good for us, they get us on the right track, but when we're very lucky, after so many lifetimes of reaching in the dark for the truth, God, who are you? What are you? I want to know the truth. I want love. I want a higher standard of existence than just selfish. Please open my eyes, open my heart. After many lifetimes of desiring something we don't know what it is, reaching in the dark for something real, we finally get enough sukriti that we get sadhu sangha. A saint will walk into our life, we'll hear from him actual Harikatha. And by hearing from him about Hari, his form, how he's beautiful, his qualities, what his real qualities are. Not that he's so eager to roast us all in hell, because he's so angry. We hear about his real qualities, how he's soft, how he's fragrant, how he's controlled by the Tattvaroga that we must become attracted to him. And that dry, I gotta get it done, Krishnadas was asking about. It's so dry that we fall asleep. Krishnadas is asleep. It's so dry we fall asleep chanting our japa. We come to the japa to pray to God. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. I want to be with you. I'm rolling your names in my mouth just like jewels. I'm praying to you. I've heard so much about your holy name. How it fulfills all desires, and all I want is to love you. So I'm chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. I want to smell your breath. I want to feel your hand, soft hand. I want to know you in every respect. That type of desire is the symptom of Gurudev's mercy. If we make endeavor and we please Gurudev, spiritual master, then our desires become sweet and thick, and it becomes to just flow. It just flows. That's Gurudev's, the sum and substance of Gurudev's mercy is how much we want to please Krishna, how much we want that relationship, how greedy we are, how hungry and thirsty we are, how much we're dissatisfied with the pleasures of this material platform. It's not enough. It's just not enough. I got it all, and it's just not enough. I'm hungry for a higher standard. That's Gurudev's mercy. We have to make some endeavor to call his mercy. Like if we're floating in the ocean, we're lost, the ship is busted. This is our predicament in this material life. In the next moment, we've come to the surface, we've got a human life. We're treading on the surface for a moment. But in the next moment, a wave may come and send us down. And again, we're drowning, lost for millions and millions of lifetimes in animal species. For a moment, we've come to the surface. We have a chance, once we cough up the salt water of material enjoyment. Salty, making us more and more dry inside the more we drink it. You're thirsty in the ocean, you drink salt water, you become more dry. You dehydrate faster. And we're like that. The more we try to drink from this world, wealth and pleasures and sense gratifications, the more dry our heart becomes. When we cough that up, then we can, Haribol, Haribol. We can call for help. When we call for help with desperation, this is like shooting a flare. We're shooting up a flare of desperation. And someone up there may see that. Oh, there's someone lost down there, they're calling. And what is the reply? Ragunattha Swami says, Devi dukakula sagarodare duyamanamati durgatam janam tvam kripa prabalano kayadbutam prapaya swapadapagatal. He says, Devi, Radhika, I'm drowning in an ocean of grief and misery. Everywhere I turn, anything I tried to hold on to, like if there's a shipwreck and you tried to hold on to one board but it can't float you, it just goes down. Last time I went to Guyana, I met this man who 2 weeks before, his ship had flipped and him and his 7 friends spilled into the ocean and everyone drowned but him. He was holding on to a milk jug. He didn't know how to swim in the middle of the ocean. Holding on to a milk jug and then finally the top popped off and it moved. And he had nothing. And he couldn't swim. But he'd met the devotees and he just chanted, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. He couldn't swim, but just somehow he floated by the holy name. For 17 miles he drifted in the ocean. Until some people on their speedboat were sitting out in the ocean and the lady was sunbathing and he heard the music from the radio and, help, help. And they pulled him out. So we're in this ocean of misery and we don't know how to swim. We don't know which direction is land. We tried to go to the psychologist. I'm so depressed. I have so many problems. If only I could talk to someone. We go in that direction and it doesn't work out. They don't understand. Tried to take antidepressant medication and things like that. It just gives us side effects, makes us sick, and doesn't cure the problem. Try drugs, try alcohol, try to make more and more money, try to have more and more friends, partying and laughing our time away. So I don't feel the grief that's always turning in my heart, the loneliness. But actually every direction we tried to go, cannot find anything to hold on to. I tried to fall in love and get married, but boom, couldn't hold on to that. I thought we'd be happy, but no. It was brutal in selfishness, the cream essence of selfishness. Tried to find shelter there, tried to find shelter there. Everywhere, tried to find shelter and health, and then I still got sick, still get cancer anyway after doing yoga for so many years. Everything betrays us. So Ragunattha Swami says, Oh Devi, I'm going into the belly, deep down into the ocean of grief. I have nothing, nowhere to turn. But your mercy is like a strong boat. Please send your mercy like a boat to pick me up and bring me across this ocean to the shelter, to that land of the shelter of your lotus feet. Bring me to your seva. Engage me in the service of the Lord. The only thing that's going to make us feel better is to love and serve. And we're not getting much facility to do that in this platform, this material life, full of selfishness on all sides. So we want it to be easy. We want it to just flow. Really, we want to enjoy bhakti, because that's what we're used to for so many lifetimes. We go to the store, we buy an ice cream cone, I enjoy my ice cream cone. It's so easy. I want to watch movies on Vidal, so I go on the internet and I just click, 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 and the next thing I know, I'm watching what I want. We want to enjoy and we want it easy. But to give enjoyment, really for a heart to flow, to melt, with spontaneous devotion, which is what Gurudev came to give us, it's going to take some endeavor to reverse our nature completely. And our nature is we're coping. I'm okay, I'm okay, I'm okay, I'm okay, you're okay, we're okay. The first step of reversing is I'm not okay. I'm helpless. I don't have any real friends that really understand my heart. Even my mother doesn't really know my heart. My wife, my husband, I tried to open my pain to them and they don't really understand. No one really understands me. I have no one but the hope that God, who's in my heart and everywhere, well, He won't misunderstand. And will have compassion and tolerate all my wickedness and weirdness. He won't throw me away. He won't divorce me. So the beginning of our reverse is that I'm helpless and we shoot our flare. But if we don't feel that, if we don't feel helpless yet, we should pray for that. We should pray for deep, deep sincerity to come in my heart. Let me feel where I'm really at. Let me feel my real position. Because if we can't, Srila Prabhupada says that person who has wealth, that person who has knowledge, that person who has youth and beauty, who's born in a high family, very hard for them to sincerely approach. All the things that we have in this world that we're trying to insulate ourselves against the suffering and our security blanket, all these things they're dumbing down our ability to cry for help. They're making it harder and harder. The more that we have, the harder it is to call for help because we think we're okay. Krishna says, who gets my real mercy, I take everything away. I break all of their dreams in this world. Do we want that mercy? We want like a Sunday program, Sunday afternoon, spiritual life. Like Christians or like people who go to church once a week and then live their life as they like, but don't really surrender. We live our life as we like, but out of obligation, we do the ritual, come together, we sing the songs in the right order, we play the drum and the kartals, we listen to the class until we can take prasad. But where is the greed? Where is the thirst for love? We have to hear from Guru Parampara more and more. So sadhu sangha is so important. We always have to be in anugatya. We always have to do our service under guidance at every moment. If we don't know how to cry for Krishna, then we'll hear from the sadhus about those who really love Him and how they cry for Him. We heard that Shri Krishna, He appears in this world to show us what love is. He appears in this world and plays for 125 years, then disappears, closes the veil on the spiritual world. But after that, His flute song, His pastimes keep echoing for thousands and thousands of years through Srimad Bhagavatam and the sadhus. 5,000 years later, Shri Krishna is still performing pastimes in the lotus mouth of the sadhus. When they speak Harikatha, His pastimes are still going and still calling us to understand what is love. We are thinking, coming from our perspective, and we can't help it, it's natural, that doing spiritual life will give us peace, will give us comfort and convenience inside. And some people sometimes think, even mundane things, they say, this is Krishna's mercy. We're going to the store, and it's Sunday afternoon, and the parking lot is completely packed, and then all of a sudden there's a parking spot right up front. It's Krishna's mercy, Prabhu. This is Krishna's mercy. I got a parking spot. I got a raise in my job. I'm more successful now, more income. It's Krishna's mercy. Wow. Like I was remembering the other day, it just came on my mind, watching the music awards when I was like 12 years old or something. And I don't know if anybody remembers Salt and Pepper. Yeah, Salt and Pepper. Everything that comes to mind is unquotable here. cannot give any reference. But very, very, so much sexual overtones. Very, very lusty music. Completely I want to mate. I want to mate. And then a different song with a different beat saying the same thing. I would like to mate. I would like to mate. That's all they're really saying. But then they became so successful because everybody likes to mate. Everyone bought their records. So they went up, and I remember they came on the microphone, receiving their golden award. And I said, we want to thank all our friends and fans and everything, but especially want to thank God who made this possible. And I thought, wow. On one side, that's cool. They know that by God's fulfilling everyone's desires, only God can make things happen. On the other side, it's like, thank you, God, for letting me promote illicit and degrading, society-breaking, consciousness-trashing propaganda. And we're successful because of God? No, we're successful because of how selfish people are. We're successful because of how people are greedy for exploitation. Always sort of saying that. We think this is God's mercy. We think this is God's grace. But God's real grace is that we get to hear about who He is at home. We get to get our relationship with Him, from what we've heard from people who don't know Him, transformed and purified. And Gurudev always used to give the example of like a Supreme Court judge. He sits with his big white wig and his black long coat, and he sits on the high seat, and they bring criminals in front of him, and he has a hammer in his hand, ready to smash. Bang, bang, bang. Hang him, throw him in the dungeon. Bang, bang, bang. Set him free. He has the power in his hand to make or break someone's life. Throw him in jail forever. Lethal injection. Pay $1 million. Get out of here, you're free. So everyone comes in front of the judge and they're trembling. Please be kind. I'm sorry, I won't do it again. Get out of here. And if everyone respects, they stand like this with their guns on their sides, the bailiffs and stuff. But at the end of the day, when he's finished doing his job for everyone else, for the world, he does a job for the world, keeping justice. When he's done, he takes off his wig, and he hangs it up, and he takes off his coat, and in his own natural dress, he goes home. And when he gets in the door, as soon as he opens the door to his house, he gets attacked by 2 little chocolatey children. His son and his daughter, little baby children, they come running, Papa, Papa, Papi, Papi. You're home, and they jump on him. They jump on his thighs like puppies jumping up and down. They're so happy to see him, and he reaches down, oh my darlings, and he scoops them up, and they've been eating chocolate, and their faces are all full of chocolate, and they're kissing him, and he's getting full of chocolate. They say, Daddy, Daddy, get down, be a horsey. He gets down on his knees, and they climb on his back. He's going around the room, giddy up, and with their feet, they're sticking him in the ribs. Faster, Daddy, faster, faster, Poppy. That same Supreme Court judge who everyone fears for their life in front of, when he goes home to his own people, he gets down on his knees, and now they're saying, make the horsey noise, and he's going, completely controlled by love, by his people. His job is done for the day. He goes home to be himself. And who he is he's Daddy. He's not your honor at home. He's only your honor on the job. He's Daddy at home. And he looks over as he's playing with his kids and rolling on the ground, and the dog comes, and the big dog loves him so much. And the dog is licking his face, and he's getting licked, and the children are tickling him, and he's in a big ball of maybe under the Christmas tree. And he looks over to the kitchen, and he sees his wife like this, standing watching. And the kids see, and they go, oh, Dad, you're in trouble. Because he came home late, didn't call. And finally he gets up, tiptoes in, and the kids are like, he tiptoes into the kitchen, and he tries to come up and put his arms around his wife, and she slinks away. You're hungry? Dinner's on the stove, but it's cold. You want it hot? You have to hot it up yourself. I'm going to bed. He'd been working hard all day to take care of his wife and kids, and she can't just heat up the stuff on the stove. And he feels, how does he feel about that? He feels good. He feels really good. And she leaves in a huff and goes to the bedroom and closes the door, turns out the light. He has to hot up everything on the stove himself. He never does that, so he's trying to figure out the knobs and stuff, and the kids, Mommy does it like this. Because they're home seeing everything. He eats by himself and puts the kids to bed, and all the while he's thinking about how I'm going to pacify my wife who's angry. And why doesn't he feel bad that she didn't serve him, that she didn't do her dharma as a wife? Why doesn't he feel bad? Why doesn't he feel bad that she's angry at him? Because he knows she's angry because I didn't call and she was worried. She loves me and she thought she was thinking I was in a car accident, there was ice on the road or something. And because she loves me so much, this anger is a manifestation of love. How much she loves me, how much her heart was trembling for me. It feels really good. And he can't wait to put the kids and tuck them in bed and read them a story until they're asleep finally. And he's thinking in his mind, in the back of his mind, he has to review from the time that he first fell in love, the time that he was first courting his wife. And all the sweet things he used to say to her, oh, your eyes are like this and that, and your hair is so curly and pretty. He had to study. He had to rack his brain and train himself. He had to train up how to please her, how to win her heart. And now he's thinking that again, so many years later, 10, 15 years later. What did I do at that time to make her melt? To make her come in my trap and wear my ring? He came in the room, and she's there in the dark. He came up behind and she moves away. And now he has to bring out all those tricks and say all those things, and he has to finally get down and take her feet in his hands and rub her feet. He has to get down like that. Supreme Court judge, I can throw you in the electric chair. I can set you free. Your life is in my hand. The whole world trusts my judgment. And everyone comes in front of me in a humble mood with their hands like this. And now he's down on his knees. And he's tired and he has to go to work the next day. And he's worked all day and he's massaging her feet. And she's trying to take him away and he has to actually, no, let me. He's controlled by love. So what we heard about God from people who don't know him is that he's a big scary judge. He's sitting up there, oh please, I'm a sinner. He's ready to roast us, to throw us in the electric chair in hell forever. That's what we heard from people who don't know him. But the sadhus are like his family members. They do know him. You know, like say, Barack Obama, he's president, and everybody stands up here, Mr. President. His suits cost thousands of dollars. He rides in a helicopter. But when his mother comes, she's not going to have any Mr. President. She's like, boy, you didn't call me on my birthday? I'm sorry, there was this nuclear thing happening. And it was dangerous, global thing. And she's like, I'm your mother? You can't call me on your birthday? Because family, it doesn't matter what your position is. She didn't see that. I mean, she's proud of all my son, president. So the people that know him, the sadhus, who have a relationship with Sadvastu, those persons who have connected with God, who know his nature, who have Krishna Bhakti, Rasa Bhavita Mati, whose hearts and minds are full of the sweet, astonishing reciprocation of affection with the Supreme Absolute Truth. They know him and they tell us, okay, all right, he looks like Judge from this side, but I know him at home and I know that he gets down on his knees and makes horsey sounds for his kids. I know that he holds his wife's feet and massages till after midnight until she finally lets him come close. The sadhus tell us, yes, God is great. But there at home, this is what he's like. He has friends of his age, his own age. He has mother and father and elders everywhere, uncles and aunties. All the people in the village, hundreds and thousands of people who are older, they all think not that he's, Yashoda's son, they think he's my son. So much affection, even the cows look at him and they think he's my calf, my special calf. He has beloveds for whom he is life and soul. Everyone is so thick, so overwhelmed, so intoxicated with love and affection for him, they're blind to the fact that he's even God. Supreme Court judge, his kids don't know what daddy does, and they don't care. They just want him to get down and be a horsey. They just want him to play a fire truck with them. They just want to play with him and be with him. They're not interested in what he does and how important he is at work. And the eternal associates of the Lord, those sakhas and sakhis and gopis and gopas, they don't care and they don't know that he's God. And it doesn't matter to him either. He's so much overwhelmed by their love and affection, he forgets he's God. Just to be lost in that. You think that Supreme Court judge, when he's playing with his kids or when he's trying to snuggle up close to his wife, you think he's thinking about those court cases and things he did at work? No. Everything is forgotten. Left at the office. Close the door on that and go home. So Shri Krishna, the Supreme Absolute Truth, the Supreme Lord, at home, he manifests himself. He takes off his, what we think of the old man with the white beard and the pointing finger to Michelangelo. At home, he shows his real colors. Beautiful, like a monsoon cloud or like a sapphire, bluish. Bible says also, like lapis lazuli. Quran also. The scriptures of the world, they give little hints here and there, how he's dark and lovely. He's like 14, 15 years old. He gives respect to his mother and father. When he goes out in the morning as a cowherd boy, to take his cows out to the forest, really just to play for 9 hours with his friends, he touches the feet of his father and his mother. And if he doesn't, if he forgets to touch his mother's feet, she'll chase him down. Hey, come back here, boy, touch my feet. He's God. She's telling him, come touch my feet. Why? Because she's worried about him, and it's auspicious. You touch your mother's feet, you give respect to your elders, and then your day will be okay. Oh, she's worried. Maybe something bad will happen if he doesn't do all these hundreds and hundreds of little rituals she does for his happiness. And we should take up that mood when we want to do arti, when we want to do rituals. You asked about that? We should evolve from this mood that God will be angry with me. Evolve from the mood of guilt that we inherited from generations and generations of hearing from people who don't know God. We should evolve from that and start doing rituals for him, worshipping him for his welfare. Oh Krishna, I know you're a cowherd boy. I know that you're going to take the cows out to the forest today and you're barefoot and there's thorns in the forest. So I'm waving this lamp around you, hoping that nothing will happen to your soft little lotus feet. Hoping that no insects will bite you, and I've heard sometimes demons come and he has to fight with them. All that darkness, all those inauspicious things like darkness should be dispelled by the lamp of my hope, by my willingness that, oh Krishna, anything bad in your life, anything difficult for you should come to me instead. You have to evolve from this, oh Krishna, you should take away my difficulties. Oh Krishna, you should make my life easy. I start to have the reverse, the opposite. Oh Krishna, let me take your difficulties. Let me make your life easy. If we hear about the moods of the Brajavasis, how Mother Yashoda, who has no idea that her son is God, she's waving a lamp for him before he goes to the forest for cowherding. Not to worship him, but hoping and praying all of his difficulties should be destroyed. They do Govardhan Parikram, they do all types of worship and rituals, and on Deepavali lighting so many lamps. Mother Yashoda, she comes down to the Yamuna and she lights one lamp after the next. Hundreds and hundreds of lamps she's putting in the Yamuna, and she's playing all different names of Narayan. Oh Vishnu, protect my son. She doesn't know her son is that Narayan, is that Vishnu, but hundreds and thousands of lamps, her prayers is endless. Oh, my son should be healthy. My son should be strong. He should have a happy life. She doesn't know her son is immortal. He is eternity itself. But to speak of a long life and being happy, he is Ananda Swarup. He is happiness itself. She's putting lamps, praying for him. Her whole life, her mind is full of anxiety for him. Not peace. She's full of anxiety. How will he be fed? How will he be taken care of properly? And Krishna goes to the forest and he plays with his sakhas for 9 hours. And they're so full of happiness to be with Krishna. And Krishna is so full of happiness to be with them that they raise their arms and dance, rolling their eyes in bliss. Drunk on the singing of the cowherd boys, Krishna Balaram. In the middle, like the pericarp, in the middle of a lotus flower, so many thousands of petals, so many beautiful cowherd boys dancing around them. Full of bliss, full of affection. And if Krishna's gone out of their sight, full of distress. Love is a two-sided coin. Meeting and separation. Both are there. Love doesn't mean, I worship you for peace of mind. Okay, Shanta Bhaktas can get that, but Shanta Bhaktas don't fit into Gloka Vrindavan. They go to the white light, or they go to Vaikuntha, and they can stand at a distance from Narayan and offer prayers. Oh, Narayan, for a long time, and he may glance at them once, and then not again, smiling, yes, blessings, and they're so happy, they're satisfied. No service, no exchange, no intimacy, no ras. So if we want peace, we want it easy, that's where we'll end up, at best. Vaikuntha, offering prayers from way across the room, and blowing a conch shell. If you want love, then you go to Vrindavan, and in Vrindavan, that coin has two sides. Those cowherd boys, they climb on Krishna's shoulders when they defeat him in games. Sometimes they run like deer. They trot like deer and they go, I will go faster. Who will get to the Bandirvat first? Huge, sprawling banyan tree. Beautiful banyan tree. We're so lucky in Miami that we get to see banyan trees. And remember, this huge banyan tree of Vrindavan, Bandirvat, big as a mountain. From a distance, it looks like a giant cloud on the horizon. But really, it's a massive, massive banyan tree. And inside of it, just like an apartment complex, so many chambers and little caves inside, full of birds and parrots and monkeys. And the cowherd boys, just like little monkeys themselves, climb through the chambers and sliding down. They grab onto these roots that come down like firemen go down the... There's places where the branches are just like arms like this, and they lay and sleep. Full of birds singing, creepers growing with flowers. So beautiful, like a gigantic palace for forest boys like Krishna, Balaram, and their sakas. And those branches are so wide, so long, they go all the way across the Yamuna, which is like wide as a football field. And they walk like balance beam, crossing one side to the other, and the branches of the Bandirva banyan tree. Sometimes they run underneath to the branches are so long, they say, okay, who can run like a deer and come first, go to the edge of the branch and back. And whoever loses has to carry the winner on his shoulders. Krishna's God. He moves faster than the speed of the mind. He's unlimited. But because of their love and affection, they defeat him sometimes. They're faster than him by the power of their praying. God is defeated. Then he has to get down. His expansion, and Antashesh on his hood has millions and millions of universes sitting there. And he's so massive he doesn't even feel them, like mustard seeds sitting on his head. He doesn't notice. He's holding trillions of universes on his head and doesn't feel any burden. And now that same original Godhead, from whom this Anantashesh is only a part of a part. Shri Krishna, he gets down, and when Subal climbs on his shoulders, he has to struggle to lift a 9-year-old boy. Because pressed by the weight of affection, mysteries of love. But when Krishna goes, because he has to go for his pastime's sake, and to show us more about what the nature of love is. Love isn't just, it just flows, it's just happy, it's just easy. Love is a whole rainbow, all different colors, all different flavors. And at least half of what love is love and separation. So that when Krishna leaves Vrindavan, he promises his friends, I'll come back. I'm going today to kill tomorrow I'll kill Kamsa, and the day after I'll come back. Cowherd boys, they can't wait, so they go with him on the bullock cart. Krishna enters Mathura, and they're thinking, Krishna's going to fight with Kamsa. They've seen Krishna fight with and kill so many demons, big, massive demons. But they're always afraid for Krishna because he's just a soft little boy. They never think he's God. They're thinking, Krishna, we heard that Kamsa's so big and his muscles are hard as iron, that he can break trees with his hands. How are you going to kill Kamsa? Krishna says, don't worry. But Krishna, when he sees that his friends are sweating and they're distressed, they're roaming now in the streets of Mathura, in the big city they've never been before, these village boys. They're going closer and closer. They're on one side so excited to be with Krishna in the big city and all the sights and everything, and on the other side, going towards the wrestling arena where Krishna is going to fight with Kamsa, and they become afraid for him. He says, don't worry. And all of a sudden, he manifests his Dirga Vishnu form, massive form of Vishnu with 4 hands and club and shining disc, and he reaches up, massive form, into the clouds. And the boys, they see that. When Arjuna saw Krishna on the battlefield show his universal form, Arjuna jumped off the chariot trembling, and he said, oh, please forgive me. Sometimes I treated you like my friend, but really you're God. And his friendship with Krishna, that intimacy, evaporated in the hot rays of opulence, Aishwarya. But when those cowherd boys see Krishna manifest this giant Vishnu form, whoa, that's so cool! And they slap him on the back. Yes! Yes! You're going to kill Kamsa. Krishna's going to kill Kamsa. And they become full of enthusiasm and dancing through the streets of Mathura because they have no fear for their friend anymore. So much love and affection. Then after Krishna kills Kamsa, then he sends, Nanda Baba's waiting outside and cowherd boys are waiting. Okay, let's go back to Vrindavan now. You did your job. Let's go home. Wow, we're going to tell everyone how Krishna killed Chandra and Mustika. And this was awesome. We went to the city, we saw this stuff. And Krishna set the king free. Wow. Can't wait to get home and tell everyone these great stories. And Krishna will get to... We'll have a big feast for Krishna. They're so excited to take Krishna home, the big hero. Krishna hung his head and he said, I can't go with you. You go. I'll come soon. He said, no, what do you mean? Why? Come on, let's go. It's almost dark. Mother's going to be worried. No, I can't go. Devaki, Vasudeva, my devotees, they've been in jail for so many years, getting kicked by the boots of Kamsa. They love me like a son. If I just let them free and after all this time I don't spend a little time with them, don't visit with the family, I just turn around and leave, oh, they'll be so disappointed, they'll be so hurt. And so many reasons, Krishna said, you know, in his heart he couldn't say out loud, but he said in his heart, if I leave Mathura, the devotees of Mathura, they love me so much after attaining me. If I leave, like the heart being taken from the chest, they will die from separation. But Krishna knew, in Vrindavan they love me more. And even though they will feel more pain in my separation, even though they'll want to die thousands and millions of times more, they won't want me to be sad. So they'll just burn and survive it. If I leave Mathura, those devotees who love me less will die of my separation. And the devotees in Vrindavan will suffer 1,000,000 times more, but they will live. He couldn't say that out loud. He said, look, I'll come soon. You just go back. Somehow or other, Krishna, because so charming and so... Finally, by the power of Yogamaya, Nanda Baba, full of tears, full of weeping, Krishna gave him so many jewels and silken clothes, and he gave him big, big handfuls of gifts. He said, give to mother all these things from the big city. Tell her I gave all these things and I'm coming soon. And Nanda Baba, only because Krishna was ordering, because Yogamaya made it possible, he whipped up the bullocks, took his cart home with the cowherd boys all crying and looking after Krishna. Krishna and Balaram also crying, looking after them. Nanda Baba bitterly weeping so much he couldn't speak. And Yashoda Ma, who was so worried that my son will leave Vrindavan, don't dare take my son out of Vrindavan. And finally, she had been convinced that Krishna was going anyhow, and she anyhow allowed Krishna to go to Mathura, but she was so worried. When will he come? When will he come? And she's standing at the road. When he left on the chariot, she just stood in the road waiting until he comes back. Just standing there in the middle of the road. Till the sun comes down, and in the dusk, Nanda Baba's coming back. Finally, here comes the chariot. Here comes the bullock cart. But as it came closer, she saw that his head was hung, and all cowherd boys were crying. And Nanda came and he gave these gifts from Krishna to Yashoda Rani. Now you can say, Krishna sent these things for you. And she just looked at these gifts and she said, what? You sold my son for this? Some riches from the big city? You sold my son? And she became hysterical. Baba's crying, Maya's crying, all the boys all crying. Krishna said, I'll come back the day after tomorrow, but he didn't come. For 1, 2, 20 days, 50 days, a year, 2 years, 10 years, didn't come. And without him, who's the life of Vrindavan, peacocks would not dance anymore. They used to, when they would see Krishna, because he's dark like a thundercloud, and looking like a thundercloud with his lightning bolt of a pitambar, golden cloth across his chest, they would see him, and peacocks, they love the rain. They would spread their tail feathers and begin to dance for him. And the bumblebees would sing Vedic hymns. And now the peacocks, they're just dragging their tails in the dust. The bumblebees, they won't drink from the lotuses anymore. They don't sing anymore. They're just rolling on the ground crying. Bumblebees everywhere in the dust, rolling and crying. Shodamaji just standing in the road, waiting when Krishna will come, when Krishna will come. She's standing like she would stand with the arti tray to wave a lamp when he would come back from the forest. Oh, all your inauspiciousness should go away. She's waiting for him to come home, and she'll do his arti. She's standing with the tray ready in the road, but Krishna's not coming. She's cried so much, she's become completely dry. She's standing like a wooden statue. No one's cooking, because they only cook for Krishna. Cowherd community, but no one's making butter, because they only made butter so Krishna would come and steal it. Cows not giving milk, because they only gave milk so that yogurt and butter would be made so Krishna would come and steal it. Everyone's life has stopped. And those same cowherd boys who used to dance in joy with Krishna, who used to hold and squeeze Krishna's soft hand very gently, because so soft, so delicate person, so worried that they would bruise him in their enthusiasm to hold his hand so tightly. Sakha, my friend, Bhaiya, my brother, would hold his hand so softly. Those same boys that used to wrestle with him and pin Krishna to the ground, who used to sweat with ecstasy, wrestling with him, being pressed chest to chest with Ananda Swarup, the embodiment of love and affection. They're pressing to their chest in the mood of young boys and rolling on the ground, wrestling. They'd raise their trumpets, their buffalo horns and flutes, and like kings of the hill, kings of the forest. How their life was full of joy. Now, they're burning inside. So burning that love means service. Love means I want to give happiness to the person I love. Love doesn't mean my life is easy, I'm tasting bliss, I'm tasting bhakti. We're never going to attain bhakti as a state of consciousness. Bhakti means relationship. It's not like I will get bhakti. Om, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. I'm enjoying bhakti. Om. It's impersonalism. Bhakti means to enter into relationship and to give pleasure to the one we love. And when there's so much love, so much desire to please, that prem, and no outlet, because he's not here, he's gone to Mathura. Cowherd boys, they can't sing for him. They can't decorate him with flower garlands. They can't paint designs on his cheeks with colored dyes and minerals. Oh, when will I paint alligators on Krishna's chest and vines down his arms? When will I hang flowers on Krishna's ears? When will I wrestle with him? When will I joke with him and call him names? When will we make fun of him for being black when his parents are fair? Oh, you must be adopted. When will I make fun? When will all these things? Why do they do? Because he loves it. He felt happiness in those pastimes. Not that he felt bad being joked about, but it feels some taste. Everything they did, every heartbeat was for him. And now he's not there. What happens to that prem when it can express itself through seva, through service? What happens? It just burns and burns and burns. So they're mad. They let their beautiful turbans, they used to wear silken turbans and their long oiled hair, because they're all beautiful, like Krishna and Balaram, so beautiful, transcendental cowherd boys. Their turbans have fallen off and their hair is fallen loose. They don't decorate themselves anymore. They're just like sadhus now. Those persons who were so beautiful, who were just like more than demigods in the loveliness of their forms, so plump and shining with love for Krishna, with joy. Now they become skinny in separation. They become dusty from rolling on the ground and their hair is hanging loose. And this burning in their heart like a fever. Where is Krishna? And they go to that big Bandir Vat, that favorite place of theirs for playing with Krishna. That big banyan tree they all love so much. Where they would play like monkeys with Krishna and dance. They come to that place to find shelter in the shade of Bandir Vat. I'm burning so much. Maybe Bandir Vat will give me shelter. They want to cool their fever of separation. But when they come under there, they roll on the dust and they don't feel any relief. So they go to the banks just nearby as the Yamuna. Or maybe we'll go there, down to the water. We're burning too much. They feel like they'll die. But the fever just goes higher and higher. In this world, we have a material body. If our fever crosses 104, 105, 106, the body can't take it. But how their separation is going up thousands and thousands and thousands of degrees of longing, of desire to be with Krishna. But because their body is eternal, transcendental, it doesn't die. So they go down to the banks of the Yamuna. And there, where the mud is black, like Krishna, they're thinking, oh, my Saka. And they see Krishna's footprints are still fresh there in the mud. Those boys, Sridham, Subal, they fall on the ground like we do Dandavat Pranam on the ground. They fall on the ground and press their chest, their heart on Krishna's footprints. They want to just sink their body into that footprint. Oh, please, this wet mud should cool my burning heart. But oh, I feel more and more. Just like frogs. You know, when the summertime comes and the lake dries up, they dig down into the wet mud to stay alive through the dry season. They just bury themselves and just somehow just tolerate. You know, because if a frog dries out, it's dead. Reptiles can live dry, but amphibians, if they dry out, they're dead. So a frog buries himself in the bottom of the pond and waits till the rainy season comes. Months. He's just like in a coma. Those cowherd boys, they're trying like frogs like that, as if like that, to bury themselves in the mud where Krishna's footprints are. Burying their hearts, pressing so intensely to the earth. Oh, Saka, Bayao, brother! When will you come back? Trying to survive. And like that, look like dead bodies. Not eating, not speaking, like mad. Sometimes some boys will roll themselves into the Yamuna. Yamuna is flowing so black, like Krishna. Some say that Yamuna is Vishaka Swarup, and some say it's actually the melted form of Krishna praying, Krishna himself. And they roll into the current of the Yamuna to cool that fever. And remembering Krishna's pastimes, remembering how they used to splash him so much until he said, okay, stop, and water in his nose. Remembering how they used to defeat him, how he's so powerful and so beautiful and so strong, but he let himself be conquered by them. How they used to make wars with lotus flowers in the Yamuna. They would pick them and throwing these weapons at each other, beating each other with flowers. Remembering all that, all the coolness of Yamuna makes their fever go up and up and up. This is love. This is bhakti. Other side of the coin, both sides. Meeting and separation. Love means when we're with our beloved, full of joy, don't need anything else, just want to serve him and please him. And when we're not with our beloved, nothing has any taste. Blind to the world, eyes closed to the world. They don't know who's looking. Not thinking when I will eat, when I will sleep, what I'll do later. All they're thinking is Krishna, 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 Krishna. That's when it flows. We feel some separation. When we come in line, roll into the river of Krishna praying, roll into the river of bhakti. Come in line. We might be standing dry on the bank. Oh, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. But one day we'll have to come in the river. Gurudev said, I am like the Yamuna, just flowing and flowing with mercy, waiting for my disciples to come and drink and drink and drink as much as they want. I'm waiting, but who's coming? Why don't we come? What is stopping us? We haven't heard enough. We haven't had enough sadhu sangha. When we hear enough, and when we hear especially from someone who has a relationship with Krishna, who's in love with Krishna, and with whom Krishna is in love, their words is like a smear of perfume on our heart. Their words, their harikatha comes out like a hand full of that sweetness of their life, of their inner world. And just like a perfumer, if we have no money, we go to the perfume shop, we can't buy any of these very, very expensive, beautiful fragrances. Creamed essence of jasmine, creamed essence of jade, and so many lovely things. Lotus perfume, pure and natural. We have no money to pay for that. You just go inside the perfume shop. You just hang out in there. Just make some relationship with the perfume man. And shake hands, something, clap him on the shoulder, make some relationship, hug, and when you walk out, you're full of fragrance. You don't have to spend a penny. You need that relationship. So we don't have, actually, the type of love and affection, the type of desire, the currency of desire to purchase that type of Krishna Bhakti Rasa Bhavita Mati. Tatraloyam apimuyam ekalam. There's one price to pay to get that. It's greed. And janma koti sukriti nalabhite. Millions of lifetimes of doing the ritual will never be enough. It's never going to be enough. We need greed. And we get that greed, that special, special desire, hanging out with those who have it. Sadhu Sangha. You hear Harikatha from someone who's sunk in that relationship, who is themselves afflicted with the fever of separation, being in this world but burning for Krishna. And when they do their bhajan, going to him and serving him by bhav. That type of person. Not just a sweet talker, not just an educated person, but a bhavuk, rasik, rupanuga Vaishnav, Shravan Guru. We have to hear from that type of person. Or we will never get the greed, we'll never be able to buy. We'll never get the Krishna Bhakti Rasa Bhavita Mati, which is, in Prabhupada's words, Krishna consciousness. You want to join the Krishna consciousness movement? It's at the lotus feet of a Rasik Vaishnava. Diksha Guru or Shiksha Guru, and nowhere else. We can do service according to our own whim, according to our own imagination, according to our own inspiration, but unless it's under guidance, unless the core of our life is that relationship. I know Gurudev told you, don't be confused. I will never leave you. What do we do after you go, Gurudev? Don't be confused. I will never leave you. It's true. But his words are also himself. Gurudev has his Vapu and his Vani. And Gurudev said so many times the Vani is more prominent. My words is my real Swarup, my real self. And Gurudev's instruction was, if you didn't get bhav by the time your Diksha Guru left this world, you must take shelter of a Rasik Shiksha Guru who has the bhav you want. You must. And at once. As soon as possible. How will we get that? Oh, my friends say they like this person, they like this Prabhuji, they like this Maharaji, they like this, they like that. Not by peer pressure. By grace. By praying to our Diksha Guru. Oh Gurudev, I know you promised you would never leave me. You promised you would always be with me. So I know that even though you're in Goloka Vrindavan, by your mystic potency, you're in this world somewhere. Gurudev's bhav has a swarup. There may be many devotees that are good and educated and can teach us many things. And there may be many pure devotees even, elevated, very high class, so many sannyasis. There may be Mahabhagavats in this world from other missions outside of our mission. We don't want any devotee. We don't want any Mahabhagavat even. Oh, any Mahabhagavat will do. Any pure devotee of Mahabhagavat will do. No. Gurudev, I'm taking shelter of you. I want to come in your line. I know that your bhav, your special, unique mood is manifest in this world somewhere. Like a tree, it drops a seed before it dies. It leaves, it spreads itself in this world. So Gurudev's seed is alive in this world. Gurudev is in this world manifest in the form of his seed, in the form of his tree growing. His line will not dry up, it will not finish. His line is flowing, healthy and strong. We should pray to him, not by peer pressure, not by my friends and their speculation and their attachments, and not by my own idea of I like this sadhu or I like that sadhu because maybe it's just what's convenient for me. What's pleasing to my false ego. I like the way they talk to me. I like the way they give me sweets. I like something about them that's pleasing for my ego. Gurudev, I want to come in your special line. Your bhav is here. Where is that bhav manifest? your heart. You left your heart behind in someone else. Bring me there. We take shelter of him. Send up a flare. I don't want anything else. I want that. And how is he going to hear us? Is he going to hear us by banging the drum as loud as we can? Gurudeva Tumari ki jai jai ho. Stand on the mountaintop with the megaphone. Gurudev Kripa Koroke. How is Gurudev going to hear us? How is our flare going to reach his attention? That, oh, my disciple wants to go further. They're not satisfied. I got Diksha from a great devotee. I'm cool. How will we attract his attention? What prayer is he going to hear? The sound of one tear dropping. One tear of separation from him. If we can cry for our spiritual master, we have a chance. If we can't, we have no chance. So we should think like those cowherd boys and all those Brajavasis who are absorbed in remembering Krishna and his pastimes and their exchanges with him and how he was so kind to them, how he was so affectionate and gentle and all his good qualities. Meditating on Krishna, they become stricken with sadness. I wish that I could be with you again so I could serve you because you're worthy of my love. Oh Gurudev, you gave me the greatest treasure of what? A worthy place to put my love. Millions of lifetimes I've been wanting to love, and everywhere I put it is unworthy place. Everyone cheats me and is a conditioned soul full of selfishness. But Gurudev, you came into this world full of love and affection and purity, selfless compassion. Thank you that you gave me a place to put my love. You gave shelter for my love, somewhere to aim my arrow. So like those cowherd boys, remembering Krishna and wishing they could be with him, we should remember our Guruji. We should wish that I could serve you, that I could please you. If one tear will come, Gurudev will hear that. That's for sure. Gurudev said, you cry for me in this world, and I will be crying for you there. You drop 2 tears for me, and I will drop 2 tears for you. It's mutual. So love is 2 sides of the coin. And it begins our entryway into that natural, that flow, that living thing, more than rituals. The entry is separation. We have to hear about Krishna and wish that we could be with him. And hear about Gurudev, remember him. Meditate on his lotus feet. Hanker to serve him and pray, Gurudev, I didn't get to make a thick enough connection with you. In the time that I had, I didn't get to make a thick enough connection with you. I'm not crying for you. I didn't get to have a relationship with you enough that now I can weep in your separation. Or if I weep, it's not enough. Not enough to change my heart, not as fast as I want it to change. So Gurudev, where you're still in this world in the form of Shiksha Guru, please give me shelter. Gurudev, please give me shelter. Okay, so today is Christmas Eve. These are just thoughts. I'm not a high-class devotee. High-class devotee, when they speak, their bhav comes out and suffuses the heart. You just sit there and you get basted, you get marinated, you get infused. And a high-class devotee speaks, but I'm not that. We're just giving Christmas presents. These thoughts in a package. You have to open it up. Think about it yourself. If there's anything of any value, maybe you're not interested, shake, no thanks, no need. You have some greed, like a little child. Jesus said, unless you become converted and become like little children, you cannot enter this path. It won't fit. So, if there's anything of any value that's coming from Gurudev, those are his gifts. Take it home, take it to your japa, take it to your meditation, take it to your prayer life, take it to your quest, and open that package up. Remember Krishna and his pastimes with his friends, and how they weep for him. If there's any questions, you can ask. Otherwise, Hare Krishna.
The Bhagavad Gita says that the soul's eternal. It also says at the end of Brahma's night, or in Brahma's night, all the souls are annihilated.
The souls are not annihilated. They are drawn at the end of Brahma's time, just like all the universes expand from Mahavishnu when he exhales and then collapse back inside of him. So the jivas also enter inside. And their annihilation is Brahman enlightenment. You know, Aham Brahmasmi, the yogis want to attain that Nirvishesh Brahman. We get it automatically. We all get it. We've already had it. Every time the universal dissolution comes, we all enter into like a sleeping, like a coma of Brahman realization. And we rest there in the light. We don't know anything about it. We don't remember it because there's no memories to make in that place. No, the soul is never annihilated. This body is destroyed like rice is husked. Shivji, he comes and he dances and destroys the universe, burns everything, and he extracts, like rice is taken from a husk, he takes all the jivas out of their bodies. And then we enter back into Mahavishnu.
Also, there is a possibility if we get the good graces of Gurudev, we get to go back to Godhead, that there's cows in Vrindavan and Goloka Vrindavan, which means there'd be grass. We could come back as grass.
In Goloka Vrindavan?
Yeah, is there transmigration as well in Goloka Vrindavan? Or is you come back as, the grass would have soul as well as the cow? How do you...
The grass is not made of jiva souls like us. The grass is made of yogamaya. The earth, everything is conscious, everything is alive. Every speck of dust is alive and full of desire, waiting when Krishna will step on me, when Krishna's lotus feet will touch me. Everything is alive. The clouds are alive. They come to cover Krishna from the heat of the sun. Everything is conscious. The milk on the stove, Mother Yashoda's cooking, is conscious. It wants to serve Krishna. But it's not that a soul attains the position of being milk. It's that Yogamaya creates this atmosphere. Balaram himself, he's everything. He becomes Krishna's shoes and Krishna's clothes and Krishna's cup that he drinks from. He's serving Krishna like that. I'll be your cup. I'll be the water you drink. In every respect, Balaram is so eager to serve. But I never heard of anyone doing sadhana to become a blade of grass. And we wouldn't, whatever position you attain there's no transmigration. Your swarup, your soul has a form already. Like inside of an apple seed, there's a whole apple tree. It doesn't become a pineapple or a mango. It's an apple seed. It becomes an apple tree. So what's inside of you is a saka, or a gopi, or an elderly mother or father or something. You won't become a grass and then change to this. And it's not transmigration. You have an eternal identity already. Bhakti just brings it out.
Is there a soul in each seed, or the seed has to take birth before it becomes, the soul enters?
By seed, I mean the soul is like a seed. Soul is like a...
But I'm talking on earth. On earth.
Yeah, sure.
Sure.
There's a soul in every seed. Everything that has life is alive because there's a soul in it. Nothing moves or changes except by the influence of a living being.
And then, so if that seed doesn't spring into a plant, what happens to the soul?
Goes to another body. His karma as a dud seed is finished. Okay. Yeah. But that's not that he wants that as his eternal swarup. He wanted that to get something else. That's a step along the way. He wanted something very special, which was he wanted to be touched by the dust of the lotus feet of Srimati Radhika when she would be walking. And he couldn't approach her because she doesn't touch any man but Krishna. He wanted to go to her, seeing her madness, how she was so much mad in Krishna's separation. He understood, oh my God, I thought I knew what love of Krishna was, but this I can't conceive. And he wanted to touch her lotus feet. Because the feet of a sadhu or the feet of any person has their mood in it. It's like rain pouring on a mountain, it runs down and comes out the bottom. So the dust, when we say, I want Gurudev's foot dust, it means I want his bhav. We make ourselves as humble as possible to receive that. So he wants the dust, the bhav, that love and affection for Krishna that Radhika has, but he can't touch her. So he's praying, I wish that I could die and become a blade of grass, so that she would step on me sometime. And then, by the power of the touch of her lotus feet, I could also get love for Krishna like that, which means he's actually praying for Gopi Bhav. He actually wants to become a beloved of Krishna, not a blade of grass.
By saying that our Shari is already and see that they are no longer there. That means that what we are going to be is predestined.
Not just predestined, but it's what we are. We always have been. Like the example our acharyas have given us, like on the same bank of the Ganga, on the river bank, some different seeds are there, jackfruit seed and mango seed and all these different things. The same water is giving them nourishment. The same sun is coming. The same everything is giving them nourishment, but according to their potentiality, a different form comes out. In the same way, different people come to Guru and to Sadhu Vaishnava. They're like giving us, their Harikatha is like the flowing Ganga, or like the sunlight and the breeze and everything that we need to make our soul sprout. But different people come, and from that same sadhu, different people of different natures will